Welcome back to Inside Eastern Utah. We are here today with Dr. Richard Wood and his wife, Ruth Allen, and they are representing, well, they represent a lot of things in our community. Today, specifically, we are talking about an initiative that they have headed up called the Faith-Based Initiative. And before the break, we talked a lot about a lot of things. We talked about what the FBI is and what you're doing, and then we said we were going to talk about some of the programs. But first, there are three groups within the FBI. So let's talk about those three groups and tell us what they are and what they're doing.
We've divided the committee up into three groups, and their responsibilities are quite different, and they address different aspects of the process of change. One is Mayor Piccolo's group, and that focuses on community values and community beliefs, and that's where the character counts in Carbon County that's initiated by the school district. The religions are piggybacking on that to support and embellish and enrich that so that we're helping families to really focus on those character and belief traits. And that's where the media comes in, that we disseminate this message as far and as broad as we can so it becomes a topic of conversation. In some places they have posters that are put in the businesses, so the people, if they go to a restaurant, what are they talking about? Well, what's honesty? And it's a neat kind of exposure to the character trait that we want to emphasize for that month, and we appreciate the school district really setting that up as a precedence for us.
And the September issue is on positive attitude, and that would be a perfect way to start out the whole thing of bringing everyone together to have a positive attitude to move forward.
Well, in the beginning of school to have a positive attitude. So
definitely need that.
Good for kids.
I have a couple of children that need a positive attitude when it comes to homework anyway.
And the other group that we have of the three would be Karen Dolan, and she's the director of mental health and has a major responsibility in this entire community, as well as Emory and Grand counties. Her committee basically is a positive community mental health. Because we think of mental health basically as what's wrong with everybody, and instead of focusing on that, the real purpose is to say what's right with people. Let's focus on their strengths, not their weaknesses. Let's accentuate what really helps people to be resilient and self-reliant, and so that's going to be initiated. Karen wasn't able to come yesterday, but Debbie Marbadikis from the health department was really a good substitute for her. And so they're going to start the QPR training. That will be on the 29th of November. And that will be for community members as well as for religious leaders to talk about interventions for suicide, because we certainly don't want to have that in our community. And so that will be the training element that we incorporate out of that committee. And they have a lot of things that can help families, strengthen families and strengthen people to say, what do I really believe in? What do I really want to accomplish with my life? It's kind of like starting with the end in mind, but the purpose is to be positive and energizing people to do positive things. The last committee, and a really significant committee, is Sheriff Woods, and he's in charge of the Judiciary, Corrections, and Rehabilitation Committee. That's a major thing.
Yeah, it is.
He
It's
wears,
a big responsibility.
it really is, and he wears a lot of hats in this community.
Yes, he
And
does.
he's trying to protect our community from the bad guys, and he's also trying to say, wait a minute, these guys that are in the jail eventually will leave. So what can our community do to try to support the process of rehabilitation? And a lot of the ministers, in particular Dave Safford, is saying, let's try to work on a mentoring program so that we can have somebody there when people leave the jail, maybe at a regular time, so that we can implement a process of change that, well, they'll have somebody that's going to be a coach, kind of a life coach or a mentor, but somebody on their side to say, we're here to help you solve the problems. What is your transition plan? And that's going to be a significant element of what we try to create as part of this faith-based initiative. So those are the three committees, and I think each committee at times will meet independently of everybody else because there are so many things going on. They just can't meet once a month. They have to meet more frequently than that. but talk about committed people and people whose lives really are the process of making an influence that's positive on other people's lives. They're wonderful people to work with.
Yes, they are.
And they're really working hard and obviously have a lot of knowledge of their own. But you guys are also bringing in, like you mentioned, some different trainings so that everyone can be kind of on the same footing. And something exciting that's coming up in October toward the end. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, why don't I let my wife talk about that? Christian Moore, why don't you tell them about Christian Moore?
Christian Moore is an amazing person who has had disabilities and had problems, and grew up in a situation on the streets in Washington, D.C., where a Negro woman was mothering him because his own family was dysfunctional. How he rose above that and could see that there's a direction that he needs to take, that you need to put yourself through to become resilient and be able to take your dreams forward. And his book, The Resilience Breakthrough, has been amazing for us, where he uses 27 different tools, but basically turning on the switch in your life and making a difference, making other people see that they can benefit from your goodness. And I am excited that he is, even though he is, how many states does he have Why Try in? He's
I
written
think every state.
written programs that help especially the junior high population move ahead and take hold of their lives.
Sure, and specifically his Why Try program. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that? And then he will be coming here to talk about the Why Try program in October.
I'm very impressed with his Why Try. He's flipping the switch and his roller coaster ride through life, and how you can take hold of choices that you make about where you're going on this ride that seems so out of control sometimes. But I would like to see his option of taking Carbon County itself as a spearhead, as a showcase, and showing that you can turn around a community. And he has offered to take on Carbon County and say, we can turn you around, we can make this county what it should have been all along. And he's coming around, I think it's October 30th, that's a Monday night, and wants to meet with everybody in the community and say, let's turn on the best of Carbon County and let it go, let it move ahead.
So is this going to be a free event that anyone can attend that would like to?
Yes, there's no cost.
And I
to it.
hope it's an energizing one for
Great.
people who want to say, yes, I can do something with my life. I can do something about my grandkids that I'm left taking care of. I can do something with the decisions I make in my life. It's not just for the kids in the junior high, it's for the parents and everyone who touches those kids, as well as everyone in the community. We've all got to put on a resilient attitude and not let Carbon County fall through the cracks. Let it be the shining light that it needs to be.
That's great. That's
I
really
agree.
exciting
That's
that he's going to be coming to speak.
He's really incredible. He's a motivator, and I think the basic value that he's trying to say is choice and accountability. And we all have to make choices, and we all have to be accountable for what we choose to do. But he's saying sometimes we are in the valley of depression, but let's get out of that. Let's take a look at the end of the tunnel where there's light that can inspire us. And his process of thinking really is something that can inspire anybody to say, why try? Well, there's an answer to why try. Because I want to become something. I want to overcome this situation. And he has the tools to say, because his own life was kind of a problem. He had a difficult time with mathematics. He still has a problem with mathematics. I think his wife does all of their accounting because of that. But articulate and energizing and engaging, he's wonderful for this community. And so it's a Monday night. We hope everybody can come. We'll get into some announcements about that.
Absolutely. What a great opportunity for the community to come and hear him speak.
There's another thing that we
yes.
have coming, and I don't know if you can see this or not, but We do have Joseph Grenny coming down. He's one of the authors of this book that's called Influencer. And he's coming to the college on October the 4th, which is a Wednesday. And he'll be here from 9 until 12 to go through this book. And if people are interested in coming, I'll be glad to get them a book, because he's saying that there are 6 factors in our lives that really create change. And it doesn't matter if you want to lose weight or change an attitude or change a position of spiritual influence on your life. If you have those 6 factors in your life, he can almost guarantee that you can make that kind of change. And so it's going to be held at the college, and thanks to Dr. Joe Peterson, he will have a lunch afterwards for those who come. And I think this month's issue of National Geographic is really interesting because it focuses on addiction.
Yeah.
Because this is becoming the nation's #1 health issue, is addictions. And we need to understand what happens with opioids, how opioids translate into heroin, and how we can stop this from being part of our culture to something to say, we can eliminate this as a problem in our society.
Well, we have to understand it before we can address it.
Absolutely,
and change it.
yeah,
So
that really is.
education is really key here.
Right, yeah. And it establishes credibility too for parents to say, I know something about addictions. And so that they have, when they talk to their kids, they'll be knowledgeable and understand why you don't want to get involved in this
Yeah.
stuff in the first place.
There's a backbone of understanding and
Perfect.
scientific facts that can back all this up instead of just because I said so, you
Right.
know.
Yep.
Which
It
is
doesn't work anymore.
No!
unfortunately. Darn it.
They got too
I was
smart.
just going to say, our kids are way too smart for that anymore.
Well, it sounds like October is going to be a good month. You guys certainly have some great stuff coming and great
Absolutely.
stuff coming out of the initiative as a whole.
Yeah. Richard and Ruth Ellen, thank you for what you're doing for the community. These things are so important, and thank you for organizing what you have and for diligently continuing. Even when you hit a roadblock, you're always looking for something else to do to knock it down. So I appreciate that, and so do, I know, countless other people in the community. So thanks for what you're doing, and thanks for coming on the show and sharing with our viewers what it is you're doing. And if our viewers want to get involved,
Yes,
how
how
can
do
they
they do
contact
that?
you and say, hey, put me to work. I love your cause and I want to do something. So.
Sure. Our telephone number is 435-650-4700. Just call us and ask us questions or anything. We're glad to have you participate
Or
with us.
work with your own personal minister or bishop and see how to get involved. That's going to be something that is very critical for us all to take a voice and say, yes, we want to stand for something. How can we do it in a way that's going to pull people together instead of separate us and have us fighting one with another? We need to pull together and make a win-win out of all of this opportunity to change.
Yes.
Take
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you
Yes,
for having
yeah.
us.
You guys are spearheading a great thing here. And if you want to get involved, don't forget, you can give them a call. You can talk to other people that are part of the initiative. There's always work to do, and volunteers are obviously very welcome.
Yeah.
So we appreciate the time and everything you guys are doing for the community.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for what you do to get the message out.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining in for another episode of Inside Eastern Utah. We are going to be back later this week with more, so
Yes.
stay tuned.